And welcome to 13 and 1. I'm your host, Francis Veltri, and I am here with my good friend Nelson Velasquez. And I just want to kind of go over a couple of things before we start. Nelson, this is the talk show that's like a game show, but there's no prizes. I just wanted to make sure you know that.
Oh,
Yeah, nothing. You can't win anything other than
okay. Oh,
win anything.
I should have read the contract you sent over.
Yeah. Oh,
I,
by the way, I'm gonna post this on YouTube.
oh, wow, man. Why did I sign that waiver?
Yeah, you know
What?
what? You know what? I just want to let you know we have not processed that waiver, so you can.
Okay, okay, okay. I'm,
So it is in it's in accounting right now.
oh, wow. You have an accounting department, but yet can't offer prizes. I think
Well,
that's
the
pretty
accounting
bogus.
department it's more of royalty account. Um,
Gotcha.
so they don't do anything with math. So anyway,
Right.
this is the show 13 and 1, and this is Nelson. Nelson, why don't you tell I mean, you are the hardest working man in improv. And right now, probably the hardest man working in comedy and improv because there's no improv going on other than what's going on with you. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I am the ringleader, I guess. Yeah, the ringleader of In Productions LLC. It is a production company out of Northwest Indiana, based in Crown Point, Indiana, just outside of
What's the
Chicago.
value? What's the street value of it?
Oh, I don't know. I have a Nigerian prince asking me that question every other day through an email. It's like, what's it worth? It's worth at least $10,000 from what
Okay,
I've heard. At least.
that's street value.
That's street value. If I were to run this in the black market, it would be at least five.
Now, would you accept Bitcoin?
I don't. I don't actually. I accept Amazon gift cards or iTunes gift cards. That's how I prefer to put my valuation into because if you're ever going to move something across state lines, they'll never suspect hundreds and hundreds of Amazon gift cards or iTunes cards, especially.
Because what can you do with those anyway?
Right, exactly. Exactly. We create improv shows. We do a weekly improv show now. We've done some other one-off kind of things. And yeah, I've been doing that for 3 years, technically, but I've been improvising since 2005. And I came up in the Chicago system. And I've been teaching, performing, and watching improv since then. But most seriously, probably for the last 5 to 6 years. And here I am with you in a dusty
You're
bar.
actually right to the middle.
Yeah.
You're shooting with a rocket
Yeah.
right to the mid.
Yeah. This is like nobody really cares about my past, except me.
Yeah.
And yeah, the other parts like no one cares. Like everyone wants to hear about the acting part.
But you are also doing stuff online with improv, which I
I
think
am.
that given the improv-ageddon that has gone on with since COVID,
Right.
coronavirus, I mean, it's pretty cutting edge. I mean, you're doing stuff that I don't even think. I mean, you're doing stuff. You're doing the grid every week.
Right.
That's an short form improv show.
Short form improvisation. Yeah. So it's like a Whose Line Is It Anyway, but much cheaper production value.
Right. But still, there is a production value. That's
There
what,
is a production value to it.
it's
Yes.
not just a Zoom box like this.
It is not.
There
It is
is
not.
a production value. I mean, I'm sure it's I mean, you're losing money at the production value,
Absolutely.
but there's a value.
Right. There's an artistic value. There might be a social one as well, but at least there's an artistic one.
Google or Amazon, one of the two have not made any money yet. So go figure.
I'm gonna go with no, I'm pretty sure they've both made money
Oh,
at this
really?
point.
Okay.
I think they're both turning profit. I think especially Amazon.
Okay. Well,
Um,
let's if anybody's watching this, maybe they can Google that, or maybe Amazon that.
or Amazon it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. Uh,
But
so, uh, so yeah, this is going to be like a 5 hour show, is
it is.
because I can't. I will be tracking like squirrels and bright lights because I can get off on a tangent with you. So you're doing the grid. You've done sketch shows online. You're
Yep.
doing teaching online. This is
Yep.
all improv, and you also have a day job.
Yes, I do.
So that's amazing. I can barely keep up with doing because I actually perform in your grid production, and I do it. I'm like a recurring, I don't know, special guest. I'm like Jamie Farr at this point,
Yes, you are. You are.
and and
You got the hair for it.
yeah, and that's even hard for me to do this and that. So I don't know how you do it. So anyway,
Uh,
part of the hard.
you gotta want to be about this life, Francis. Are you? Do you want to be about this life?
I want to be about this life.
Okay.
I used to think I wanted to be about this life, but then I realized, I don't think people realize how much work it takes to when you step into. I mean, obviously, a lot of people come to Chicago. It's like this comedy mecca, right? Nelson,
Hmm.
is it fair to say that's their dream or aspiration to go from to make it big in Chicago and then go further to L.A. or New York? Would you say
Yeah,
that?
I think they kind of the way I kind of envision it is that they come to Chicago to work on their craft, and then they go everywhere else to get paid.
Sure.
Right.
But just getting up the pyramid of comedy, and that's the way I look at it. It's sort of like a pyramid of comedy in through Chicago. It is so hard. It requires a lot of
It
time
does.
and effort. I mean, it is not for the faint of heart. For
Yeah.
every Amy Poehler, there is what maybe a couple 100,000 people that just didn't get as far. Maybe.
That scares me if it's 100,000.
Well, I'm just throwing it out. Maybe it's 20,000.
I would. I'm thinking there's 1,000.
For every,
I'm gonna scale it down. I'm gonna scale it down. Like as far as like inside Chicago, you're probably right. I mean, if we took the aggregate of all the people that have come through Chicago,
sure, that's what
yeah,
I mean.
yeah, you're probably right. But I think what makes this easier for you is all you have to do is when you join Chicago Comedy is if you get two of your friends to join Chicago Comedy and then they get two of their friends to join Chicago Comedy, you can accumulate the amount of success through them and it just goes right back up.
That's true, but you just have to make sure they're not funnier than you.
Right, right.
That's why you've let me be your friend.
Exactly. Yeah, you're
No worries there.
we're starting somewhere right here in the pyramid, right? You're right, all right.
You are definitely halfway to higher on the pyramid.
Halfway to higher. Well, thank you.
You're not. I'm not gonna because everybody doesn't know your name yet, so you're not at the top, but you're not in the bottom. I would be. I'm Atuk, the pyramid builder in Egypt. I'm the guy carrying the big block. I am that low down.
Wow.
But you're in the middle. You're kind
I'm
of
the middle management.
of the pyramid
Yeah.
building. You're
Yeah.
middle management.
Okay.
And that's good.
Take it.
Some people don't get that. Most 99% of people don't get that far.
It only took 15 years.
Another 15 years, you'll make it to the top.
Eventually, I mean, at this rate,
Yeah, exactly. And maybe if some sort of pestilence comes along, you'll make it even faster.
hey, COVID hit once. Just saying.
Just
Just saying.
one more.
Another catastrophe.
All right, let's get to the game. The game with no prizes. These are questions that I came up with. There's no incorrect answer. By the
Oh,
way.
of course not.
No incorrect answer. So let me ask you question number one. This is the question. One of the questions I ask everybody. I start off with an easy one to kind of get this. What superpower would you want?
That's simple. I want the superpower to be able to truly not give a crap about things. I think I think my level of empathy has been tested for the last 4 years at least. Especially this year has been tested. Like to be empathetic to everything, that's really hard to do. And I want the superpower that could just be like turn that thing off. Like I could truly turn off my emotions and not give a crap about certain things. You and I are politically are on different sides of the spectrum,
Absolutely.
and man, my side's been a lot at work, and not to say in a bad way. It's just there's a lot. It's overpowering. It's overwhelming, and man, like I just don't want that anymore. I don't want to own all of it,
Yeah.
and I'm under no obligation to do so. But then I'm a dick if I don't.
Right.
You know? So when I'm completely honest about things, so I just wish I had the superpower. Just like when I turn it off and I say I don't care, I don't feel guilty
Right.
inside. I
Right.
want to just be able to be like, cool, don't care, moving on.
Yeah.
Cool,
I'm
and
sorry, but I don't care. Right.
yeah, exactly. No, not even I'm sorry. It's
Oh,
just I don't care.
oh,
Like I
uh,
don't care.
like I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I don't care. How about
No, not even I'm sorry that I don't care. Like not even apologizing for it. Like you're just straight up. You just it's like that person is dying of thirst on the side of a road and you walk by and you never even thought about giving them water. Like you never even thought about like that's a superpower to me. And there are people who have that power, which scares the hell out of me. But I kind of wish I had it because it would come in handy in a very selfish way
right?
at some point. And not to say I'd want it forever, but dude, like 2020 has been the ultimate test of my empathy and the ultimate test of my hope in humanity. And so I'm hoping that like after the next couple years, I can feel different about it and choose a new superpower.
What you want to be is basically a Roomba. See something and like hit a couch and you move on. Like, oh my, and not even oh my. You're just like, oh, there's something going on. I'm just moving the other way.
Exactly.
Like 180 degrees.
Absolutely.
You want to. Your superpower would be some sort of metaphysical Roomba.
That's true. Quite true.
Yeah, for me, I think it would be the superpower would be predicting the future, so that I wouldn't waste time doing things that weren't gonna like fail miserably, like this. 13-1, or
That's good seeing you, man. All right, thanks. Oh, sorry. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
like fail not this show. I mean this project. This show right now of the 4 episodes, one which is a lost episode of the 4 episodes that you're the fourth episode. This is the best. This is starting the strongest. We are on a solid trajectory today.
That's good. I will let your previous guests know.
What?
I'll let them know that you said that.
No, see exactly. Now it's no. I think that it's a learning process. So all right. Well, now that I've got 3 less friends.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe
right.
one less spouse.
Well,
And
how
even
much
one.
is my wife?
That's included. Okay, good to know.
Okay, now question number 2. Oh, and I may lose track of where we are, and what that means is bonus question.
Okay, excellent.
So this is question number 2. Have you been to and this is not the question. This is just informational. Have you been to McDonald's lately? I mean, you have kids.
Of course.
Okay, so you've heard of the Travis Scott meal?
No.
Oh, you don't know what the Travis Scott meal is?
No, it sounds like I go into McDonald's and then I shoot people in the feet as a result of, getting into an argument with a customer service person and I shoot him in the feet and then I run. That's what I think a Travis Scott meal is.
No, Travis Scott meal. He's the singer.
Okay.
And what they're doing this promotion. He's also known sometimes as Cactus Jack.
Okay.
He did Apple Pie. It's one of his songs.
Okay.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, so we don't even need whatever. But right now, McDonald's is promoting the Travis Scott meal,
Okay.
and so they've made a meal based upon what Travis Scott likes and what he likes. And McDonald's should be paying me money. This is not the first time I've used this question.
Okay.
I'm hawking their stuff. Anyway, Travis Scott meal is a quarter pounder
Okay.
with cheese, pickles, bacon, and onions, a side of fries, barbecue sauce to dip your fries in, and a Sprite. Okay, that's what you go. I want a Travis Scott meal. That's what they get. Now he's not at the McDonald's. They don't even like Zoom call him to like talk to you. This is just the Travis Scott meal. If we were to have the Nelson meal,
The Nelson meal.
yeah, where would we get it? What fast food restaurant would we get it? And what would be in it?
It'd be at Portillo's.
Okay, and
It'd be at Portillo's. It would be the meal would be a large beef.
Italian.
No Italian beef. Yes, large beef, no peppers, You get a large, well done fry, compliment, a large Coke. Then you would get a large piece of chocolate cake, and then you would get probably a prescription to some high cholesterol medication as a side of it, just so that you don't die from the meal
They could
and the
just
caloric intake.
they could include a Lipitor with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, That's it.
yeah.
That's it. It would be pretty simple,
Mhm.
but it would be really unhealthy for you.
Oh, sure.
And you probably would also get me on the bag going.
Yeah. You
Like,
know,
it ain't my fault. You're gonna die. See?
the my meal, that's a good one. I might steal that meal, and what I would do though is it would come with a Diet Coke.
Oh, okay. Hey, you gotta watch your waist. At that point, after you lose your thumb to the chocolate cake
Yeah.
and you have a heart attack due to the beef, uh, and a kidney stone from the fries. So yeah, I
Oh,
could see it.
and you know what? I just want to bring this up about Italian beef. It is no, I'm Italian, Nelson. You know that.
I know you're Italian.
I speak with my hands, eh? And that is not a traditional Italian food. People probably, unless they're in the Midwest, don't even know what we're talking about. It's basically beef with what is it? What dressing is it? Thousand Island dressing?
No, no, not at all. Italian beef it sits in a broth
A broth of like
of
of what? I'm not a big fan.
it's like mayo. It's got all kinds of crap. Mayo, Worcestershire sauce, mayo. It's pepper, cayenne pepper. It's got a bunch of different things in it, but it sits in there and it soaks in a broth, and it's effectively a shredded beef.
Yeah.
Um, and it is damn tasty. And those of us in the Midwest argue over who makes the best
I don't
Italian
think there's
beef.
any doubt that it's Portillo's makes the best.
There is a lot of doubt.
Oh,
There's a
really?
lot of doubt. There are a lot of people who are like Al's beef, and I'm like, nah, bro. Like Al's beef is not as good as Portillo's. Now, Portillo's in California, for example, not as good as Portillo's in Chicago, right? So there's consistency differences there. But like people are like Al's beef, some people like Maxwell Street beefs. I'm like, Maxwell Street is a street in Chicago, for those of you who don't know, where it used to be kind of the place to go if you wanted like a greasy, comfort food after a night of drinking. And it used to be kind of in a seedier part of Chicago, and then now it is just the most like a gentrified area of Chicago. But there are two stands still there serving and slanging stuff late at night. It's open 24 hours. And like it's like surrounded by a hospital and UIC and I'm just like, man, like I am sure there some alderman is getting hit up constantly by the people who live in that neighborhood and be like, oh, we gotta get these brown people out of here because I just spent $400,000 on a one bedroom condominium and I'm not about to let that value go down.
Wait, that's a steal. 400,000 a one bedroom condo. Steal. Should be thankful.
So I've gotten into arguments with people. They're like, yeah, Portillo's it's good, but it's not the best. I'm like,
Well,
real?
and I think people maybe in the East would know it as like the Italian beef is the Midwest version of the cheesesteak.
Yeah, it's like a cheesesteak, but cheesesteaks are
The same debates, same
yeah, yeah.
partisanship.
Yeah, I think that the difference is honestly it's what it's marinated in and what it's served with. It can be served. It's known as the wet version of it, where they pour the broth all over your sandwich and make it basically inedible at that point because you can't hold it. It's like it's just holding up. It feels like you're holding just
Paper
like a
mache.
soggy diaper to eat. So
You
yeah,
remember paper mache from school? Like the only time people ever even used to work in paper mache was like in grade school or high school. Once you're done with that, you never have to go back to paper mache again.
yeah,
You know what paper mache is?
I do. I do. I've never worked with it though.
Yeah, but it's basically wet newspaper that's got some, stuff put on it so that when it dries, it's like hard. So anyway, so
Sounds like my love life.
oh come on. Um, Now let me ask you this. Speaking of your family,
Oh.
Who's the funniest member of your family?
Uh,
It doesn't have to be your nuclear family. It could be anybody.
it's probably my daughter, man.
The
My
baby.
daughter, the littlest one.
Yeah.
She's 2 years old, and she's funny in a lot of ways because we constantly try to figure out how much of between my wife and I, how much she has like genetically, how much genetic information made it over to her. Um, so she's got like yeah, she's a good mix of both of us, honestly. And but she approaches things differently because she's a girl, and like that's something that's funny for me because I have two boys, and I kind of know boys, like I know that really well. Girls, I don't. So she constantly catches me by surprise because she'll take she's got a good sense of humor. She knows when she has timing, which
I was
is
just gonna say that the
awesome.
times I've dealt with her, she's got incredible timing.
Yeah, she's
I,
got timing.
she's got timing. I would tell you that you can't teach that. You're either born with it or you're not.
Yeah. Um, and she yeah, she's just and she's a great actress. Um,
Very patient.
yeah,
I
she
mean, it's
listens.
unbelievable. Look, very
She does all she basically does improv better than I do.
sure.
Probably ever will. She's
I didn't
good.
want to tell you that, but she is. I was hoping actually the reason why I joined the grid is so I could work with her.
Yeah, I know. That's what most people do. Ron and Lisa could give two craps about me. Ron and Lisa Zany are in our group, and they could give two craps less about me. But if I bring Liv around, they're all about being there at rehearsal.
Well, and that's a selfish thing because it's more about stealing from her improv gifts,
Right.
gifts
Exactly.
than about actually, being around a small child, which is another good thing
It's like cookie. You're like, oh yes. I was waiting for the cookie initiation.
to do. Yes, and
Mine. Oh my God, this child.
that is perfect.
Yeah, and we haven't decided to we haven't decided. We have decided just by being lazy. We've decided to not like make her a model or a child star,
Yeah.
but she could totally do it. Like she totally could. She could rock it, and it's like, oh man, like when she gets older, I'm gonna be in trouble because I don't know. I can barely handle her at 2.
Mhm,
If I extrapolate out to 13,
mhm.
yeah, this is
I
going to be
think
fun.
I think you need to either start your own political action committee for her eventual political career, or maybe just start a YouTube channel for her now.
Yeah, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I think that's easier because, like, she's the one that's going to take care of me when I go to the old folks' home.
Mhm, mhm.
So, like, my other two, I love them, but yeah. Third times, I got it right the third time. The first two were kind of like trial
Yeah.
runs. Those guys are going to take care of me. She's the one that's going to take care of me. Wipe my butt when I need it when I get older. So yeah, I think I'll put that YouTube channel together for her. She just has a steady income at that point.
Okay. Okay, that was question number 3. Question number 4. If you were offered a free ride into space, now it could be, it's not, it could be any way you want to look at it. If you're just orbiting the Earth, going to the moon, but you're coming back. I mean, besides the general danger, it's not like you're going to Mars and you're going to die on Mars. Not one of those kind of things. But would you take a free ride into space?
Absolutely. Hell yeah. What other occupation can you get on, 1 billion pounds of TNT? There goes my background. Oh, speaking of, my child star.
See,
My, my child star is right here. Wow. She
that is
she
like
she, she just pulled the Kool-Aid Man entrance, didn't she?
that's like
Oh
that's
yeah.
incredible timing because she didn't do it while we were talking about her. She waited, but just that right moment when people be like, "Hey, is that her?"
Yeah, that's her.
Just incredible timing.
Yeah,
Incredible.
that was. So yes, I want to say what occupation can you sit on top of millions of gallons of flammable liquids and then go into space and then potentially die of suffocation, extreme pressure differences, solar radiation, gamma radiation.
Cosmic rays. That's what happened to the Fantastic Four.
Right. And see how many movies they put out? I mean, nothing they could take could save those movies.
Nothing good about those movies, but they did do them.
They did five of them. There
Yes.
was even a made-for-TV special they made in the '90s.
Well, you're talking about that Roger Corman thing too, right? You're kind
Am
of,
I?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So yeah, I would totally go into space, man. Like I'm a big space guy. I love physics, so especially astrophysics. So all that stuff intrigues the hell out of me. And if I could even take it further, like I'd love to be like the first guy that goes into space um, and produces the first, Italian beef at that point.
Or the first online improv show from space.
I could do that.
You could do that. Can I please have something you find in your junk drawer at home? One of those. Something you do in zero gravity. That's the better joke. See, if Liv was there, it definitely would have worked out much better because she would have known that joke like that. So, where did she go?
She's screaming for me. We kicked her out of the bar. She's too young. She's not 21 and over yet.
All right, so let me ask you this. This is question number 5, I believe. Do you believe that aliens exist in that they act? And this is question 5 and 6. Aliens, space aliens. Not we're not even going down anything other. Space aliens exist, and if so, are they visiting the Earth?
Yes.
And yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Straight up, yes.
Yes.
Come on, man. How can we not have space aliens?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just they're so far. I mean, the distance is light years between stars.
It is. It is. But also we got to remember the universe is roughly 14 billion years old.
Sure.
Right. So Earth has been around for about 4 of that.
Years or 2,000 years old.
What was that?
Or 2,000 years old.
Yeah, depending on which textbook you're reading. Right. You never know. So if you believe in public school education,
if you believe in public school education, you must believe in space aliens.
You must believe in space
visiting
aliens.
Earth.
It is. It comes with it. So when you do the I don't remember whose equation it is, but effectively the probability of life.
The Fermi paradox or something.
There we go. Sure, I'll take it. Yeah, I mean, if you do the probability, even if 1% of all life was in this universe, it's still huge.
Sure.
Right, and so kind of extrapolate from that. It's like someone's got to get more advanced than us. I mean, look at us. We thought in the 1950s we'd have flying cars and pneumatic tubes that would transport us at supersonic speeds, and we have yet to conquer the hoverboard.
Well, I mean, the other thing is, let me just tell you, and this is question number 7. What is something you thought we would have when you were a kid that you thought we would have now, like some sort of futuristic item? So, look, here's the thing. I thought right now we would be covered in Dippin' Dots because they are the ice cream of the future.
Gotcha.
I thought because I thought they'd be everywhere because they only had them in like amusement parks. And then I thought our ice cream aisles would be filled with Dippin' Dots. That hasn't come true. So what did you think we were going to have in when you were a kid or some time ago that hasn't come true?
I honestly thought we would have like personal jetpacks.
Okay. And what would you do with would you like, would it be for like, hey, I'm going to go for a fly today, or would you actually like fly to work? Would it be like,
I'd fly to work. That would make my commute so much easier. Until other people started flying. And then all the stereotypes about driving would then translate over to flying at that point. So I get stuck behind some like blue-haired old lady in her jetpack, and she doesn't quite know how to use it, and is slowing down the rest of traffic at that point. And I'm just gonna leave it at that because I have so many others that I could go to at this point.
I don't know any of those.
Yeah, of course not. So you don't drive. You have a chauffeur. So
I do, thank God.
Yeah, thank God. Travis Scott. So with that said, like I think we'd have jetpacks or just like some more. We would be taken to the skies a lot more, and using that third dimensional space instead of being two dimensional on the ground. We'd be up in the air already on personal equipment and going from there.
Okay. What low expectation movie did you see that you discovered that you liked? Like there was a movie you thought was going to be awful, and you think, "Oh man, this movie is really good." I don't know why everybody hates it.
Yeah. I have the Matrix, the original Matrix.
Okay.
Because this was a this was around, so this was '99. It came out, right? When I saw the trailer for it, I was like, they gave us the whole movie in the trailer. I was like, okay, and I hate it when companies do that. Like,
Well, that's like a bad signal that the movie.
yeah, like if you give me the entire, like if I can figure out what this movie's about through your trailer, it's probably not very good. Fast and Furious,
Right, right.
right?
And yet they've made 8 of them, 9 of them.
10,
And I don't think that there's any variation. I mean, they have different like characters, but it's the same story 10 times.
right? Right. Vin Diesel's gonna talk very, very quietly.
I am.
Yeah, I like to drive my muscle car. Yeah. So yeah, it's
That's really good.
yeah.
That's a really that you're the first person I've ever seen do a Vin Diesel impression.
I've been working on it.
That's good.
So yeah, so I thought the Matrix was gonna suck. Just based on the trailer, and I was like, all right, I'll go see it. And I walked, and then like a third away the movie, I'm like, holy crap, this was not at all what I thought this was gonna be. And I was like, walked out of that theater, and I was like, that's one of the best movies I've ever watched. And I every time it's now joined the echelon of movies like Die Hard and Predator and Commando and Rambo First Blood and Part Two
Commando.
and let's see.
Hot throw command.
Yeah, Commando. Every time it comes on TV, I've got to watch it. I've got to watch Commando, man. There's just something about Alyssa Milano getting kidnapped and Arnold Schwarzenegger carrying big logs. Big logs.
Let's go,
Big logs in the thing. There's just something
As a
about
good Republican, Arnold, leave Milano to go wherever she is. Don't go look for her. We do not need her.
man.
Oh man, I'm harsh.
I gotta see it. And then you gotta hear Radon Chong. And what other movie, tell me what other movie from the 80s uses timbales and steel drums as much as that movie does?
That's true. That's true.
Right?
Well, they thought that was going to catch on because if you remember in the 70s and 80s, the saxophone player was at the peak of moviedom. In every movie, I just watched The Untouchables. It is filled with sax playing. And and then the 90s hit and there was no more saxophone background. Like the saxophone players are basically on the unemployment line in LA at that point. And they thought probably the steel drum would take over.
They thought so. Well, lots of hip hop, early hip hop, used the hell out of the timbales. And I like, you listen to a Curtis Blow record like The Breaks or Africa Bambaataa, the Soul Sonic Force, or even the Sugar Hill Gang. Like timbale is all over hip hop, and I'm like, I wonder how many hip hop guys are like, you know what? Timbales. That's what we need. Hit record, timbales.
Very similar to what happened to the Beach Boys and the Beatles. Something very similar with Animal Sounds and Sgt. Pepper. Something very. I don't know either. No, I just love how you're just sitting there going, "How do I yes and that?"
Well, I was like, isn't it called Pet Sounds, not Animal Sounds?
Whatever. I don't know.
I was sitting there going, I was like, what's the joke he's going for? So let me let this one ride for a second. Let's see where it goes. Or is it just pure ignorance? He doesn't know it's called Pet Sounds.
It's pure ignorance.
Okay,
No, you know what? That would be the title of my book if I were to write a book about my life. Pure ignorance.
Pure ignorance.
Question number 9. What would be the title of the Nelson book?
Hashtag sucked better.
And you know what? You do. That's another thing you didn't mention. Your YouTube channel, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Improv sucks.
Yeah, yeah. So my YouTube channel is still kind of formulating, but yeah, I'm doing a lot of videos or trying to do a lot of videos where it revolves around improv, improv lessons and performance as well. So I do two-person scenes with different people. Francis has been on the
An
series.
early version. It
On the,
looks really cool now. I mean,
yeah,
you've
yeah.
really done a lot of post production stuff, which I can only dream of doing on 13 and 1.
Yeah,
Only
well,
dream of
I
doing.
don't know. I think that background, you're hitting, you're starting to go on that upward trajectory right now. You're taking advantage of what tools are your advantage. Like I still don't know. I mean, the thing is like when I first started the original idea was that we were going to be locked down for 6 to 8 weeks,
Yeah.
right? So I was like, what's the big deal? Like I just do a bunch of scenes with a bunch of people, and then we'll be good, right? And then that didn't happen. So for me, it's like doing the series has been it's cool because it got me seriously thinking about my YouTube, my online experience and my online presence. But the other thing that you brought up is like I had to kind of come up with my own niche of like there are people in the pyramid of improv who are in the upper levels and they're dominating, the people's time for watching two-person improvisation online.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, how can I make mine different? And I was like, the one thing nobody's doing is doing the post-production stuff. So that's going to be kind of my calling card, even if it doesn't go viral or is popular. You could definitely say it's unique.
Yeah. Okay. Um, yeah, that's just amazing. Like I said, I see your channel and I see how you're doing it, and I'm trying to steal as much as I can from you.
That, that's
And
that's
sometimes I
that's great.
ask you, sometimes I just steal.
That's fine.
So
That's
and
fine.
if I forget to ask you, it's only my Alzheimer's. It's
Okay.
not intentional.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, it's nothing to do with pure ignorance. It's just.
or pure, or it could be pure. The title of my book. Anyway, number 10. Number 10. Who is your favorite comedian? I mean, could any type of performer. Doesn't even have to be somebody. It could be somebody you like have been watching Chicago. Anybody. I'm talking anybody that you can think of. And to give you some time, because that's a hard question for me. But I had to think about. For me, it's Jerry Lewis.
Okay.
I love Jerry Lewis. Always loved Jerry Lewis movies. I saw him perform in Damn Yankees live, and this just is a story. He was touring. It was the touring show of Damn Yankees, and he plays the devil in the show. And the first act, he's not in as much, but the second act, he has a lot of songs. And the first act, I was kind of disappointed because it's like he kind of like I don't know if was he you could just tell he was sleepwalking through the first act when the time I went to see it. And I was kind of like, "Oh, this sucks." He's not you could just tell. But then I realized it was because in the second act, not only does he do a bunch of songs, he has a solo, I think he has a duet. But then they literally stop the show for like 30 minutes while he comes out and talks to the audience. I mean, he literally comes out and like, hey, and does like some goofy stuff, talks to the audience, tells a story or two, tells some jokes, and then they go on with the show. It's like in the middle of the second act. And I thought, but the second act, he was on. He was like, it was perfect. It was great, fantastic. I mean, I gave him a standing ovation. Um, and I think that, and I hate to say this, but I think was pacing himself.
Yeah.
So I can forgive his like lackluster interest in the first act, you know.
Yeah.
So because again, he's Jerry Lewis. So,
Yeah.
but I got to see a great performance by him, memorable performance, and he's one of my favorite comedians of all time. How about you?
Um, I mean, I have to stick with my stock answer, but it's a little bit more nuanced. I mean, the reason I even got into comedy was because of Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
I was supposed to be the second coming um, of Eddie Murphy, and I always wanted to be a stand-up comic, and I always wanted to be funny. Um, but with that said, I mean, it's weird because it's changed over the last few years. Not in the sense of like that is the ultimate job,
Mhm.
and not that he isn't funny. It's just it's interesting watching what he has considered success and what I consider success and what those definitions are, and they're not necessarily the same. So, kind of as a thing, I would love to be the next, or be on have the level of success of an Eddie Murphy. I'd love to be there, but honestly, I'm kind of happy where I'm at. Like
Live.
not to say I'm complacent. That's not the truth, but it's like I've done enough stuff of my own stuff now where I'm like, hey, you know what? I actually got talent. I can actually do something. And so now it's been very much of like, what is my own voice? What do I have to offer the comedy world? And I like kind of what I've been doing over the last few years. So it's kind of like external to myself, Eddie Murphy, it would be that. But right now, I'm kind of like, what is Nelson funny, and what does that mean, and how do I share that with other people?
I'm going to add a question to my list here because we're at question number 11. Okay.
11A.
11. Is this 12? Yeah.
I don't know.
This is number 11. Unless I've skipped a number, and we could be on 18. I wouldn't know.
Okay.
I try to keep track, but it's numbers, and I'm not good with numbers.
Yeah.
Number 11 would be, and this is a follow up to the comedian question. This is my personal, and you can tell me I'm wrong. Um, I think that a lot of times when comedians like Eddie Murphy or Zach Galifianakis, and again, totally different style, totally different, Jack Black, they hit a wall at some point in their comedic career. And I think that I would call it something like where they're not funny anymore. Like Eddie Murphy was hilarious with his stand up, with Saturday Night Live stand up bits, those 48 hours, Trading Places, all those movies, and then he like hit a wall, which it seems that happens a lot to comedians. I don't know if it's because they get so famous that they forget who they are or their character, or they just don't have the desire anymore. Because I think comedy, I think there's you know some sort of connection to desire to do it, and
Okay.
or I don't know. But do you think that comedians hit a? Do you agree with me or disagree
No,
that?
I agree 100%.
And why is that?
Um, a lot. I think there's a lot of factors to it. I think that you will get to a point of success where the motivations that you had for success are now gone. So you need to reformulate what that next level is going to be at that point. So um, I'm not nearly the improviser that I was 10 years ago because of the level of success I've had. So that now forces me, and my motivations are different, and things that have happened in that time frame are now different for me to pursue what the next level is. I think it's hard to do. Let's go with Chris Tucker. Like Chris Tucker, when he first started out, hilarious. He was supposed to be the next Eddie Murphy,
Right.
and he hit his wall, I believe, early, like right after Rush Hour ish, somewhere around there. Stopped doing stand up on the regular, was doing movies, but was just doing a lot of bad movies, a lot of making bad creative
Like the
decisions.
Elvis Presley track.
Yeah, and I. With that said, it's hard. You live in a bubble. It's like you change as a person. You become successful. You change, and it's hard to be. I think as an artist, it's hard to be something that you already were,
Mhm.
because then you're just going through the motions at that point, and it's hard to live that kind of have some sense of integrity as an artist. Now, some people, again, if I had my superpower, I'd just turn that shit off, right? But I think like an Eddie Murphy is like, man, he hit, the 80s, early 80s to late, you can argue maybe early 91, 92, somewhere around there. I think Boomerang was the last movie that I thought was like good. But even then, it was starting to change. Man, you had a meteoric rise, and then you your entire lifestyle changes, the people you're hanging out with changes, your ecosystem changes. And if you look at, I think Dave Chappelle, if you watch the evolution of Dave Chappelle's stand up, you could argue that he's not as funny as he used to be. I will disagree. I think it's changed. And I think he's one of the few comedians I've seen out there who have embraced their change to say, like, the phrase "I'm rich, bitch." Like, he uses that now and recognizes, like, he can't tell the same jokes he was telling, 10 years ago, because now he's a multimillionaire.
Right.
Whereas before he was broke, or he was, struggling as an actor in Hollywood.
Talk about not paying an electric bill.
Right. Like, you can't talk about that same stuff. And I think all of us hit that wall because if you get successful, you're not as hungry, and you have to find new ways to get hungry. And that hunger is going to differentiate from what you did before. And if you're really known for what you did before, people aren't willing to allow you to change with their nostalgia and their attachment to your success, so that you will always be judged by your past work. And you as an artist have to make a decision as to whether or not you care about that. I'm a huge Smashing Pumpkins fan, as everybody knows, and now everybody knows. And the Smashing Pumpkins in the '90s were in the '80s, actually, late '80s, were like a goth band, like a bad goth band, and then '90s they were a modern grunge band, and I use that term loosely, so don't kill me, Billy. But it was loud guitars, loud and soft dynamics, stuff like that. Really, really awesome, and that's the decade I got to know them. And then towards the latter half of the decade, they got softer. They did more acoustic things or electronic things. And then kind of the 2000s to the tens, they kind of all over the place, right? And it's like, the thing I can respect about the band, even if I don't like 100% of everything they did, like, I can respect the fact that they weren't willing to just rest on their past, and they never said they would. They have a double record coming out soon that's going to be challenge me even more, as a fan. It's going to challenge me to embrace. But with that said, it's like I see that in comedy as well. I think that you're going to hit that wall because the generations change, and people's expectations are going to be to the work they're more familiar with, that was hitting at a time, and that's super hard to overcome. It's super. You're never going to be. Jerry Lewis. I always want to say Jerry Lee Lewis. I don't know why. Jerry Lewis of the '90s, when he died, 2000s.
He died about a couple years ago, actually.
Okay. So Jerry Lewis of the '90s is nothing like the Jerry Lewis of the '60s. Like,
Or the 50s.
right. Like, we're not going to see, him doing the kind of, slapstick stuff that he was doing then. And you got to ask yourself, like, okay, is that acceptable or not? And I think
If he does do it, it doesn't look right.
right, it doesn't look right. Yeah, it's just, it's inevitable with any level of success. You're gonna have to contend with your past and what got you there. And not every comedian, not every entertainer gets away with being able to change. If you think of Bon Jovi, Bon Jovi is effectively an adult contemporary band now. In
Right.
the '80s, in their heyday, they were a hard rock band.
Right.
And
Stadium.
now they're doing adult contemporary pop songs. Is that acceptable? I don't know.
I saw Bon Jovi in between between their first comeback and their second, between their first set of fame and their comeback. I saw them at a community college in a gym that for about 3,000 people just before. I think that the song was a Christmas song that they had done that kind of helped them restart their career. So yeah, so I saw them at the Beaver County Community College.
Yeah.
Bon Jovi. Yeah, Beaver County. That's a weird name, by the way.
Uh, so many jokes.
Yeah, so many jokes.
Um,
But let me ask you this. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but go ahead and finish, and then I have a question to kind of follow up on
yeah, yeah, no, I was just gonna say, like, I think that look, I think I haven't hit my wall yet, but if I compare to what I was doing 10 to 15 years ago, well, maybe 13 years ago, right? Like, I was in like 5 to 6 different improv groups, teams, efforts. I was out there, hustling, and now I hustle differently. Does that make, have I hit my wall yet? I don't know. I don't think I've hit a wall. I'd like a wall to hit at some point, but like I being an artist myself, both in acting as well as in um, I'm having a child being murdered over here apparently.
Well, could she be murdered in the no, that's fine. I don't mind. I don't mind.
So like I haven't hit a wall yet, and I'm looking forward to getting what I would consider a level of like getting paid was like a wall. I guess like was like the first time I got a paycheck from doing improv. I was like, like oh my god, I get paid. Um, but if I ever go mainstream at some point, I have already thought about this evidently so much that like I've tried to build in like different ways to stay hungry. Like, okay, what is the next thing I'm going to be working towards, and what I'm going to be hustling to get at that point. For me, the hustle, and I think this is where ultimately it comes down to. For me, my hustle and my motivation has been always about respect.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like if I never do this again, um, I want people to respect me, and I don't always feel like people do or respect my game. And I'm unfortunately that is a very subjective thing, and I want people to put some respect on my name. I want them to like, you may never see me act, or you may not be familiar with my work, but when you hear my name, I want you to respect it. And that's, I don't know if I'll ever get that, but like, man, it's such a motivator. It's such a motivator for me to stay hungry at that point.
Well, when what I've noticed for me, and again, this is way long on this one question, but it's kind of interesting. You know, the kind of performing I was doing when I was 21, stand up or improv, my characters have to be different. I mean, I can still play a kid in an improv scene, but I'm still, it's different. Do you know what I mean? I think that it's just you become different. So, and the other thing I wanted to add is you were talking about comedians. The one I would say is kind of like this weird exception to the rule. I don't even know why, because I can't peg him for it. Chris Rock seems to. I mean, he was another next Eddie Murphy type who. He could have hit different walls, but he still keeps reinventing himself. He always goes back to his stand-up roots, always.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's still good, and I think he may ultimately be somebody like our generation's. I'm not even gonna say Bill Cosby. I'm gonna because that's not the right because I think that has a bad connotation to it. I'm talking about like a comedian for a generation, like a Will Rogers almost.
Okay.
Somebody who spoke for a time, and I think Chris Rock may be remembered differently 20 years or 30 years or 40 years from now than we remember him presently.
Oh, I agree with that. I think Dave Chappelle is also
Yeah,
another
they're,
comedian
they're
that,
very they're very close too.
yeah.
I mean, I think there's something about them that is. I don't think they're sitting there and trying to just. I think they're trying to expand the African American experience without falling into the tropes in their comedy. I would
Okay.
say, or exploring the tropes too.
I'm
I think
I'm
so.
good with those too.
Eh, Anyway, what do I know? All right. Now you kind of touched on this. So this was because I know you like seeing live music,
Yeah.
and I was just and this may have you already may have answered this already. What's the best live? This is question number 12. What is the best live music performance you ever saw? What is that one where you kept the receipt, the ticket stub, the one that you're like, man, that is the show by which every other show is judged.
I'd say Prince.
Okay, so I'm surprised. I was going to think it was a Smashing Pumpkins show.
No, no. Shit. I saw Prince on the Musicology tour. Um, they came to the Allstate Arena, which is in Rosemont, Illinois,
Mhm.
and like I'm not a huge Prince fan. I'm not gonna front. Like he lost me somewhere around Sign of the Times, that record. Like that's when I was like, okay, you're getting weird, bro. Like
Raspberry
this,
Beret in that song in that album.
I believe so.
Okay, yeah, he lost me then too.
No, actually, I don't think Raspberry Berry's on that record.
For Raspberry.
It was after that record.
Okay,
It was after that record,
he lost me at Raspberry.
and well, it's like you're getting weird, bro. Like, not, I was always much more of a Michael Jackson fan
Yeah.
at the time. So, so then the musicology thing came out, and I was like, I've always heard about like Prince,
Mhm.
performances, and let's go check it out. And it was smart how they did this. It was one of the few concerts at the time where he was bundling in the record with the ticket price. So it's like a $35 ticket, but then you got the record with it. So you got a CD of
Oh, you
musicology.
got a
And,
CD?
and so he was breaking all kinds of records, no pun intended, because he was like going like selling not diamond, but he was going platinum because he was having all these concerts, but the sales of the tickets were counting towards his record sales
Uh huh.
at the moment. And I didn't really like the record, but man, I ain't gonna front. Like Prince was incredible, in freaking incredible. I had never seen Prince perform, not even on MTV, or on TV, and I was like, "Holy smokes, was that a good show?" That's a show. That is production. That is talent. That is music capability. That is everything. Like if I ever do a show, I want to be on that level because that's dedication. That's natural talent as well. But my God, I mean, he worked his ass off and broke his hip doing it.
Sometimes when you
So
go see a show like that, when it's Prince and again, I have never seen the show like that. So, um, did he like take moments off, like we're talking about Jerry Lewis, or was it like him, given every penny's worth of what you paid for?
no, yeah, he gave us more than what we paid for. I mean, and the thing is like the other thing that got me thinking about was like how important it is to be surround yourself by competent people.
Mm-hmm.
Because his band was badass. Like, without Prince, would I say they would be a hit band? Probably not. But they were excellent musicians, great showmen, great showwomen. Um, so like that got me thinking about ensemble as well. It's like, man, when you surround yourself with a bunch of improvisers or a bunch of actors that can kill it, like it makes your job so much easier. So, I think that's where like the Jerry Lewis, the Jerry Lewis difference of like if you're holding up a show by yourself, you'd want to pace yourself. I don't think Prince ever had to.
Okay.
I think he had more energy than everybody else did ever all the time. But I think that he had such a great band, he could let the band go for 10 minutes while he's just watching or playing tambourine or whatever,
Wow.
be off to the side, and you're entertained, and he could come back. He didn't really have to pace himself like methodically. I think he could just be like, I'm getting tired. I'm going to let the band play. We're good. And all right, cool, I'm back.
Well, that's like as opposed to I saw Steve Miller at the Horseshoe Casino once,
Okay.
and and he has a lot of classic rock '70s songs that probably a lot of kids who were in his band when I saw him a couple years ago probably learned to play when they were like 15 years old.
Hmm.
So I think he just picks up the cheapest band possible because he's just going to play his hits, and do one encore, two encores, whatever that smattering of an audience.
At the Beaverton College,
At the
Beaver College.
County College, community college. No, this is at the Horseshoe Casino, and actually at a casino, and it was like it holds like 5,000 people. If there were more than 2,000 people there, I'd be surprised. Okay, at a casino, we got comped, so if we got comped,
Yeah.
ton of comps flying around.
They paper the ticket. They paper those things really well. Casinos, like you don't want to do casino shows
Yeah.
if you're on the other side of things, because the people who are there aren't there because they want to be.
Right.
They most of them are there because they got free tickets,
Right. Right.
and so
Right.
they're not going to be as into what you're
Including the
doing.
band. Including the band. They don't want to be there.
They're like, "Come on, man."
Let's go. We got to go to the blackjack table. I got to blow that $500 that I'm getting for tonight's show from Steve Miller.
I got 2 drink tickets. Come on. Shit.
Oh my God, no, that's exactly right. But yeah, so that's like, so Prince, who like has these great performers around him, is giving you this $35 ticket, probably at that point that was probably like equivalent to like a $65 ticket today.
Right.
But here's Steve Miller, who's basically having the cheapest band possible because his songs he can find 4 guys down at the local guitar shop to come in and play in the band that day because everybody knows his songs and he doesn't care because it's about him.
Right.
Like this show is about me, not really about you, Nelson.
Right. I saw John Fogerty a couple years ago, and I was like, "Oh man, John Fogerty, seriously?" Like, okay, I might know 1 or 2 of his songs, like Creedence songs. Man, that was like that. He killed it. Oh my God, was he good? Like, not only good, really good. And he's what, in the 70s now, and I'm like, holy crap! His band is badass, and he still rocks. I gained a new respect for John Fogerty. Like, again, surrounding yourself with great players, like, it makes such a difference. Such a difference.
Okay, so this is going to be 12A because I don't want to leave on this question.
Okay.
This is a downer question, so this is going to be 12A.
I'll make it an upper.
What's the worst show you ever saw that you paid money to go see, or even got as a comp ticket?
Oh, I was going to say, I thought it was the worst show I was ever in. Because there's a lot of those.
I was in it.
There's a lot of those.
No, I'm sure I was in that show. I mean, I'm talking about music performance. I mean, again, I think everybody should understand, we as performers, or at least you as a performer, me as somebody who screws around with this shit, I respect even people who are like I might be seemingly shit talking Steve Miller and everything. I respect people for doing it their way in performing. I'm not saying that those are bad choices. It's just different choices. Prince does it one way, Steve Miller does it another. They're trying to make a living doing something that they can do well. I mean,
yeah, I feel you.
I don't, and that might sound wishy-washy, but hey, if you like Steve Miller, he's gone, go see him, and just, hey, you know what, and you don't care if he's got like 4 guys who just, he pays for nothing. Who cares? Because you're not going to see them, But Prince says, hey, you know what, I want to bring musicians along, and Steve may have the same impression. I don't know. I don't care. But anyway, what's the worst performance you ever saw?
Man, musically?
Yeah.
Musically. That one's harder. I mean, I've been to a lot of local shows. So I'm trying to remember. It's been a long time. I can't remember it a lot. I think that it was a Foo Fighters show that I went to. I saw John Fogerty open. Trying to think of like a major band.
Yeah,
of a major artist.
Because a girl I was dating, and this is kind of surprising, she liked the Indigo Girls, and I had to go see the Indigo Girls. And I kind of liked it. It was actually okay. I didn't think I would. I do question her, maybe why she went with me.
Right.
But
suspect.
Absolutely. But yeah,
I can't think of like a good major artist right now off the top of my head where I was like, oh my God, I'd never go see this band ever again. Like, there are lots of local artists. I was like, I don't know what I just watched. And some shows I've been in where I've been like, I wouldn't even go see me. That was awful. But yeah, like musically, yeah, I guess I'm pretty forgiving when it comes to seeing live shows. I mean, there's some shows where like they don't live up to my expectation.
Okay, well, what about that? Is there any show that you thought
Um,
was up to your expectation?
yeah,
You have a higher expectation because you, let's say, the Smashing Pumpkins. You may be more
well, there
disappointed.
have been pumpkin shows I've got. Like, I actually did a moratorium on going to see live pumpkin shows. People thought I was insane, like as if like I was turning my back. So starting somewhere around, let's see, 2009, so 2014, 2013, somewhere around there. I disallowed myself to spend copious amounts of money on pumpkin tickets because the performance, it wasn't about reliving the 90s for me. It was about want to be there.
Hmm.
And I was not feeling, this was at the time, uh, uh, Billy Corgan was the only original member left.
Okay.
And
Bald-headed Billy
the
Corgan?
bald headed, yes. And not the Rogaine one. So he, like, I could tell like, he'll disagree, and he has disagreed. And who am I to, second guess somebody's heart? But man, I can tell the difference when you're into what you're doing and you're not. There's a difference. It's not a I can look at your soul and I can see it, right? From one artist to another, I can see when you're into what you're doing and when you're not. And he wasn't into his performances. He wasn't really into his singing anymore. And I was like, why am I spending good money to go see mediocrity? Like, if it's gonna suck, have it suck at 100%, right? Don't give me 75% suckage, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of gave myself a moratorium on buying pumpkins tickets. I was like, if someone donates it or pays for me, I'll go. It's not that I won't go, but I'm not gonna spend my money on it. And that lasted about 4 years. And then I saw them the last time they were in Chicago, um, and that was a good show. That was a good show. I still didn't pay for good seats for that show. I was on the lawn at well, it was the Tweeter Center, and then before that it was the World, and then I forgot what it was called before that. But whatever it's called now, down there in Tinley Park,
I think it's Portillo's.
what's it called?
Portillo's.
Yes, Portillo's. I saw him at Portillo's. I was in the drive-through the whole time waiting for my beef. Travis Scott was driving. It was, um, yeah. So like I would put pumpkins right up in there, and I think again that's why I say I'm challenged as a fan because they challenge me constantly, and I like
That's a
that.
risky move in pop music to challenge people.
It is.
Because
It is.
I don't
It
think
is.
that I always think of the movie The Doors when the Jim Morrison, played by Val Kilmer, is singing "Light My," or he's singing and it's after "Light My Fire," but he refused to sing it. People are just like, "Play Light My Fire, Jimmy! Play Light My Fire!" So I always think of that. It's really hard to be, to
It is hard.
challenge because people, they pay their hard-earned bucks and they want to see something that they paid to see. What you pay to see, I think, is maybe unique to you, and if we all don't agree, we end up with, President Trump. So,
We'll leave it at that. We're going to leave it right there. There's
yeah,
nothing I can say.
because this is an apolitical show, actually.
Right. Exactly.
All right. So number 13, question number 13. This is it. This is 13. This is the 13th question. Someday I'm gonna have like a video thing going on with like the number 13 bouncing around or something.
Just hold up a sign. Just
See, that's why you are a genius. I am sitting there going, I just got it. I'm circling number. I just have almost 13.
yeah, 13.
All right. Have you ever had a nightmare where you were performing in a show, a play, a band, and that you didn't know the music or didn't know the lines?
Oh yeah. Oh,
And,
definitely.
and what play or song was it that you didn't know?
Oh, it was. Oh man, I've had that dream billions of times. So I was in a show called A Tuna Christmas over at Crown Point Community Theater,
Okay.
and it's a two-person show, and then between the two actors, they play 22 characters.
Mhm.
So we have 11 characters apiece. And yeah, I had the dream where like I didn't know my lines going into it, and then but see that what screws up those dreams is I'm an improviser by nature, so it's literally like I don't know my lines. Okay, like now I got to be a better actor than ever and figure out what the dialogue or try to remember what the dialogue is. Most of those dreams are like are not. It's not the performance of the lines. It's like, oh, there's a big agent in the audience tonight, and you gotta kill it. Like it's gotta be great. Otherwise, you might as well kiss your career goodbye. That's where the anxiety comes from in the nightmares. That's the nightmarish portion of like, oh, I can't just go up there and suck ass. Okay, well now I gotta be good.
Yeah.
Like that's scary for me. Of like when you have to be good,
Yeah.
when you can't fail. Because I embrace failure a lot. So it's those are my kinds of shows, my kinds of nightmares at that point. And I think that's like to your point about the last question of like I as you know, playing in the grid, I'm more willing to fail in front of an audience. I'm willing to be like, hey, got a new game. It's under rehearsed. Let's play it this week. Let's see what happens. Like, and that is such a freeing mentality to go into. It was just like, well, it'll be good or it won't. Like, it'll suck or it won't. And you know what? We got another show eventually. And I think that's kind of where it makes a difference for me of like, a lot of actors and a lot of people are about like, I've got 6 times that I can do this the right way. Whereas I'm like, okay, after this 6, I've got 25 other shows that I'm doing. And this is now 6 of 25, 6 of 31 versus 6 of 6. So that is kind of the one I have. And like as far as music is concerned, a lot of the time it's like I think I'm probably harder on that one because if you play the wrong chords, it can absolutely destroy a song and destroy an experience. So I've had those dreams of like, we're going up on stage and I can't remember how to play any of our music. So it's literally like, and I'm normally the front man. So I improvising then. I've only been in one jam band before, and it wasn't a jam band. It was literally the precursor for me to getting into improv. I got asked to be part of a Chicago music festival, and I didn't have a band, but I lied and said I did. So
This sounds like the plot of some bad sitcom.
yeah. So they're like, yeah, can you guys do this gig in a couple weeks? I'm like, oh yeah, sure. And I'm like calling people. I'm like, hey, yeah, hey, no rehearsal, just show up, right? Just show up. We show up. We played an hour at this festival. We made up songs. We made them all up, and I literally would yell the changes to the bass player and the drummer. And I remember like 99% of the songs sucked, but there was one that we did that got applause. One.
Hour. It's sort of like this show. You do a show this hour, no
Right.
applause, and then you get one.
I get one.
What was the song? What was the
I don't remember what it was. We made it up, but it was like I remember going, "Oh my God, like imagine if you could just do this all the time." And that was like again a precursor before I finally decided to start doing improv. But like that put the idea in my brain of like you can do these things. These are things that are possible, like of being able to create art or create something that's static that is actually really good. Oh my God, it's the Kool-Aid woman. It's the Kool-Aid woman. It's the Kool-Aid woman. Well, where are you? Hey, what's going on? Hey, Kool-Aid woman, you want to be on this? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, Dada. All right, so here's my new. This is my meal ticket. This is my retirement plan right here. This is my retirement plan.
There you go.
Oh, there's my non-retirement plan. Man, come get your sister, man.
She came down.
Yeah, I know she came down. I'll be up in a little bit, baby girl. I'll be out. Can you close the door, please?
I almost have. Your dad is almost done.
Your dad's almost done. I see. I told you.
I can't edit that out.
You can't edit any of this out.
No.
Or you can. You can just like cut it and then go to that please stand by that they use like on TV. as a
That's
joke.
possible on this.
Absolutely. Well, you can do that. You can do that in post if you have post
I
editing.
don't have post.
Okay, well
I have to
then
buy a $200 program.
that's what happens.
Yeah, I asked you. I said, Nelson, what do you use for posting? Because I know, Nelson, you know every, cheap fix. You know
I know
everything.
the hacks.
You know the hacks, and then so you're like, oh, this is a great program. I look it up. It's like $300.
You make that lawyer money. What are you worried about, bro?
Yeah, right.
Come on,
Right.
man.
Anyway, so
So yeah, I was saying something.
you were performing live with this band.
Yeah. It was just it was a precursor. It was a precursor for improv, and
I just can't. I have this vision of you guys getting like a big box van, throwing stuff in. People from all over the greater Chicago area meet at your house, just to put it on the box van, and you just go to this show. And like people like 5 minutes before don't even know where to plug in. Then you're like tuning the guitar, the piano player's sleeping.
yeah, it was.
The drum guys probably. I mean.
Well, there was even what it was even better was I didn't even have an amp for the show, so I ended up taking up a PA, like a public announcement system, plugging into the PA, taking that as my speaker, the PA, and then using a guitar amp simulator and plugging into that, and that was my rig for the night. Because I was like, I'm not going to buy an amp for this gig. Like, I'm not going to do that. What do I got lying around? I'm just going to plug stuff in and see what works. And dude, it was so fun. It was such a liberating experience as a musician. And I was kind of getting over my musician phase of being in bands and stuff because I couldn't find reliable people, and I wanted to join something that was a bit more structured. And then I got into improv, and then
Actors are
less reliable people.
Wait, who's more reliable? Okay, we're like, this is question like 18 now. Well, who is more reliable, actors or musicians?
On a whole, I'd say actors.
Really?
On a whole, there are plenty of flaky, unreliable actors out there.
Okay.
Musicians are worse, and it's weird. It's weird because like I think with actors understand that it takes a lot of work to get good at what we do, whereas musicians think that they've already done the work just by existing, and they think they're great, and you can't convince them otherwise. And so many musicians are literally like they're living trying to they're living in a like a bubble of their own fantasy world, and they walk around in that bubble like, yeah, I play guitar and I'm in a band. That's good enough for a lot of musicians. Whereas like I'm an actor in a no-name improv group, and we don't do shows, and like they know that it takes a lot of work to get there. With that said, every year I produce so many shows. Every year I think I know what an actor is going to say or do, and then somebody does something stupid. And I go, nope, that's new. Never thought somebody would ever do that. They did something stupid. So actors, still piss me off, myself included. But musicians, like if I had to take my choice of the two, it would definitely be actors over musicians.
You know what? We're 18 questions practically. So
Yeah, that's how good I am.
I'm gonna have to have you back sometime, Nelson, because I already got question number 1. I already got it down based on what you said. So you're coming back sometime. We'll have you back on. But now,
ask me the same questions and see if I give the same answers.
Yeah, what that would mean that I'd have to go back and watch this and write those questions down because I have no idea. Like I went off my script by question 4.
Okay, well, good to know.
So anyway, now is the part of the show where you get to ask me one question. Why one question? Well, because it looked kind of cool with 13 and 1. But I don't, because I could get the website. Really, I could get.
You're like the domain was available, motherfucker.
The domain was available. 13and1.com was available. That's why it's 13 and 1.
You're like 13. Nope, that's gone. What about if I add 1?
12. How about 12? So no, it's 13 and 1. So you get to ask me one question, any question you want to ask.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
Okay.
I was going to make this personal, but I decided not to. What do you really think? Again, this is an apolitical show.
Sure.
You and I, however, politically are on different sides of the spectrum. So this is kind of, it has a hidden question within it.
Okay.
So what of all the conspiracy theories that you have heard of in your life, of all of them, which one do you wish was true, but in your heart know is false?
Which one conspiracy theory? Oh, okay. That's good. Because we talked about aliens too.
Yeah.
And now, I don't know if you've heard recently where the government's come out and said there's videos of I think they call them UAVs. I forget what that stands for, but
Unmanned aerial vehicles.
yeah, UAVs, right? And they have basically come out and said we don't know what these are, but here's the video. And I personally, I would love there to be space aliens. I would. But I just have a hard time believing that there's space aliens. I personally, and this is because I think it's more likely to be time travelers.
Okay.
So I would like there to be space aliens. I just don't think that that's what we're seeing. But, is it possible? Sure, absolutely. But that's a conspiracy theory that, it's been around there for so long, but still nothing definitive. Like, another one would be like Sasquatch. I would like to think that there is a Sasquatch, but really, at this point, you would think you would have found something. Even like a big Sasquatch poop.
Have you seen Jason Momoa unshaven?
I have, yes, that's true. No, actually, I've seen that commercial where he takes off the Jason Momoa costume. So, yeah, I think that. So, I know you might have been saying more political conspiracy.
No, I wasn't. It's just I know that I was hoping you were going to go non-political. It's just you. We both have a lot of conspiracy theories that we're both subjected to politically. So I was giving that as a treat or as a gift in the event you didn't have one that you could recall one very quickly.
Yeah, no, the other one, if you want like a more, I think the whole QAnon thing is, at some point, I don't know if I'd say I ever believed it, but I would say, hey, this is kind of, interesting, and I would kind of follow up, and then I just think it's a bunch of hooey at this point, and that comes from somebody who probably would like it to be true. Okay, I'm not gonna be like, oh, that's garbage. I would like there to be some sort of like good versus evil and be on the good side. I don't think that really is true or exists. That I don't think like both sides, whatever. And again, I'm not telling anybody vote vote Trump, vote Biden, do whatever you want, do what you think is right for the republic. I think that.
I'm voting Kanye.
Well, that's good. Except, is he on the ballot here in Indiana? I'm not sure.
It doesn't matter. I can go vote in Illinois.
No, that's true. That's true. Yeah, they would let you vote in Illinois. They would
right.
Multiple times. But for no, I would like to believe that whatever we're doing for the best of for our community. You know what I mean? That's why I sort of. Whoever you vote for, I just want the best person to lead. I don't want to do it because I hate one person more or one person is more this than that and I'm voting for the other person. I don't want the lesser of two. I just want the best person.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, there is no the only qualification to run for president is you have to be older than 35 and a natural citizen, whatever that means. But that's it. You don't have to give out your tax information. You don't have to do this. All these other things. But given that, we should have a better choice.
Yeah.
I think we get crappy choices.
Agreed.
I think we get crappy choices, and I just want somebody who's going to do right, do the best job for the people of the country.
Right. So when we stop taping, tell me who you really want me to vote for. All right.
All right. All right. So that's it. I mean, again, I think a great show. Nelson, you are coming back because I've got like 15 more questions for you.
Oh, thank you.
We played 18 and 1.
Yeah, I did.
The game show with no prizes. See, it's a game show that with no, so, you know.
Yeah, because I think if you did have prizes, you'd be like, we got to hurry this mother lover up. All right, let's go. 13. That's it. That's all you get. I just bought a brand new coupon.
And I think I'm going to give those like those prizes they give on video games, which is just a graphic of like a trophy. You know,
Cool.
that was the hardest thing for me to get about the video game thing. Like I play Clash Royale, and they give you buy cards, or you get cards to have more characters that you can do whatever with, and then they give you trophies and stuff. They're just digital. It's not like I'm physically getting anything. They're just
But you got to learn how to monetize that. That's the thing. Like
Yes.
if you can get your character built up in such a fashion, you can sell it.
right. Exactly.
You
Exactly.
know. That's the
So
thing.
hey, thanks for playing. You did awesome. You're coming back. Everybody's been awesome on the show so far, and I want to make sure people come back and have a good time. And I think that I think that we're all doing great. And now I'm kind of distracted because I had a problem with my audio. But no,
Okay.
here it is.
I can keep stalling.
Oh,
There you go.
my intro outro music by Charlie Fleming. Thank you, Charlie. He's going to be coming on in a future episode. We got some more great guests coming up. And thank you again, Nelson. Have a good show. Have a good night.